Yes. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد مؤمنين مؤمنات, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jumu'ah or Laylat Jumu'ah Mubarakah inshallah upon everyone. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be amongst those who return to Him and seek forgiveness on this night for ourselves and also for our marhumin, those who passed away from our gatherings, from our family members, ancestors, loved ones, and especially the community members. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on the souls of all the marhumin inshallah and forgive them. As usual, we try and reflect on self-purification, tazkiyah, especially on Thursday nights, as it is the night of return. And part of returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is tazkiyah. It is not a physical return. It's a spiritual return. So to return spiritually, we have to clean ourselves, just like an individual who may have gone out of their home, problems with their family, went in the wrong areas with the wrong people, neglected their health and their hygiene and appearance, and now they want to come back. They clean up and come back clean to their family, to their loved ones. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the real mahbub, the real beloved, and He is the real habib, the real lover and beloved, and therefore we return to Him, and we should do it often. He loves, in fact, at-tawwabin. He loves those who keep returning to Him. Tawabin comes from awb, return, and the term refers to those who frequently and often return. He loves the tawabin, and He gives us chances, and He gives, obviously anytime we can seek forgiveness and anytime we can return to Him, not a limited time and not a specific. However, He also gives special places and special times. Laylatul Jumu'ah is one of those special times, almost like saying, this is a special time, I will overlook anything, just come back. Or an opportunity through His mercy, through His blessings, another opportunity for us to return to Him. And as we said, part of it is to clean up, and part of cleaning up is to make sure that our heart, not the physical heart, but the spiritual heart, our nafs and heart and qalb are clean and clear from all of the vices, all of the diseases that might affect the heart and therefore the journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mentioned to mu'mineen and mu'minat, some of those things are major obstacles. For instance, in the hadith we are told one who has a little bit of arrogance is not welcome in paradise. Paradise is the place of nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those who are near Him are humble. Those who are near Him recognize Him and His majesty, therefore they're humble. In fact, the mountains crumble when God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty, presents His majesty to the mountains. Obviously it's not a physical thing, but in that sense not even the mountains can handle that, and they crumble. فَلَمَّا تَجَلَّى in the ayat as we recite from the story of Musa alayhi salam, and his people asked him and insisted, we want to see your Lord, arina rabbak, or let us see your Lord, we want to see God. أرنا الله عفوا أرنا الله, show us God. So when he asked God to show himself, God says to him, لن تراني, you will never see me. And look at the mountain. If it stays in its place, then you can see me. When he looked at the mountain, it crumbled. فلما تجلى ربه للجبل جعله دكا وخر موسى صاعقا. He passed from the scene. The mountain crumbled. Why? It is not that the mountain saw God, وَالْعَيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. It is never possible. It's not that God presented himself physically to the mountain. His majesty. Awliyaullah, they see the majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, therefore they humble themselves. So one who has arrogance has no place in paradise or in nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to clear our hearts and clean our hearts from arrogance. One of the ways I've shared this with mu'mineen and mu'minat is to keep reminding ourselves of the hadith from Imam Rida alayhi salam, when he says, whenever a person who has good aql, complete aql, لا يكمل عقل امرئ حتى تكون فيه عشر خصال. His aql is not complete unless he has 10 characteristics. The last one he says, the most significant, والعاشرة وما العاشرة. He says he doesn't look at anyone except he says he is better than me. هو خير مني. Humble yourself. Why do I need to feel better than anybody? God created me and God created them. What makes me better than them? If I use the guidance and blessings from God, I'm good. If not, they might be much better than me and I don't realize it. Therefore, always put that in your head. They are better than me. هو خير مني. And that is humbling ourselves. Another one of the diseases, the vices that people might have in their heart is hasad. Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, we've been reflecting on lines from Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq. In there, he said, Ya Allah, whatever shaitan throws in my heart from these evil characteristics, purify that for me and change it. In a way, change it to see your majesty, change it to see your blessings. He says, ما يلقي الشيطان في روعي من التمني والتظني والحسد ذكرا لعظمتك. Ya Allah, change that in me which is thrown by shaitan. Could be partially our own problem that shaitan uses against us and puts in our hearts in terms of long wishes and hopes in this dunya especially, and suspicion and assumptions about people and suspicion, والتظني والحسد. Hasad, one of the worst or the severe diseases is hasad. Hasad is what also takes us away from humbleness and recognition of the ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The problem with hasud is that they question the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the one hand, they are questioning God and His blessings and mercy and why He chose this person to give them certain things and us not to give us those things, whatever it might be. One has children, another does not have. One has wealth, another does not have. One has a good spouse, another does not. Or has no spouse or has a terrible spouse. Okay. Either way, one worse than the other, I don't know which. Either way, one has certain things that the other does not have. Who chose to give one and not to give the other? Through His wisdom. and because of certain factors and variables that some of it we should know and learn about, others are through His wisdom that we can never fully learn. And therefore, one has to be always thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what they have, and never question Him about what they don't have, what they are lacking. And that is also part of the purification of ourselves, purification or self-purification, or tazkiyatun nafs, which is a must. And inshallah we make sure we reflect on it, especially nowadays as we see people are becoming more and more materialistic. We see at the same time their jealousy grows bigger. When we look at the world of maddiyat or madda and matter, we will find that people become more jealous, and they look at others in that sense, and they display jealousy, and that could turn into bigger problems. You know, it could go from mere feelings to actual actions that would be extremely sinful in terms of slandering or trying to harm others in one way or another. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to purify our hearts from arrogance, from jealousy, from other vices of the hearts. We ask Him to make us amongst those who listen to what's said and follow what's best. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Muhammad wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Bismillah.
فاصل خیلی جالب رو آقای